Good evening. Buenas noches. Hey, everybody. Uh, Glad y'all are joining me. Um, I was I was very tempted not to go live today because no guests, and I was having a hard time deciding on a topic. So I decided, why not? Why not get something to eat and just hang out with y'all, and we see what's on your mind. Um, Good evening to everybody in my Facebook group, Picky Girls Travel Solo. Um, I'm streaming live in there as well, since we're all hanging out here tonight. Um, I saw your question, Angela. No, I'm still having to pick up my own damn tacos. We did not find anybody to go get them for me. So we that's something we're definitely working on. But as of this moment, I still got to go get my own damn tacos. So hello, hello. Buenas noches, Abba, Dita. Who else is in here? Pearl, D, Tell, Carla, Greta. Hey, Anita. How are y'all tonight? Let me just say that I love this YouTube name. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I love that. So in case somebody, the YouTube algorithm has happened to serve this up to somebody and they're like, what the hell is this? Hi. Hey, I hey, my name is Adelia Aborshade. I am the founder of the Picky Girls Travel Solo um, not podcast. I can't even think, y'all. Picky Girls Travel Solo Facebook group, which is a group for Black women who want to solo travel, who currently solo travel, who want to share what they're doing. They want advice, they got questions. We handle all of that in the group. I am also the creator of the Financial Confidence Academy. It is, I guess you could call it a group coaching program, although program is a strong word. It's a financial education community. Maybe we'll call it that. We get together twice a month to discuss a money topic. So, like tomorrow night, we are doing a workshop on credit, everything you need to know about credit. And so it's a different topic every month. We also have a Q&A session where you can ask all of your money questions. What else do you need to know about me? I have been living outside the US for 6 years. I call Mexico City home. It is my most favorite place in the world. And I've kind of made it my life's work to help other Black women live the life that they want to, since that's what I'm doing. I feel like everybody should have a chance to do this. So that's me in a nutshell. Tonight, we're just hanging out, seeing what y'all want to talk about. I went to my favorite neighborhood taco spot. And I hadn't even opened this, and I don't know if y'all can see. This may not look fancy, but these are delicious. These are tacos de arrachera, which is kind of, I think it's the same as carne asada. In this part of Mexico, carne asada is not a term you hear a lot, but it's like beef skirt. So kind of like fajita meat tacos, and they come served with French fries. And of course, this is a bag of limes because how you gonna eat tacos without limes? This is a bag that I will not be opening of cucumbers because I don't know what the hell they think I'm gonna do with these. I'm not gonna eat them. So, what are y'all doing? What are y'all up to? Oh, and I also have a partial glass of wine here. Hey, everybody. I didn't want to call this a Q&A because that just seemed more formal than I was in the mood to being today. I didn't know if there were any pressing topics y'all wanted to talk about, like, we ready for monkeypox? Because that is, whether you're ready for it or not, monkeypox is it's going to be a thing. It's too easily transmissible for it not to be a thing. And I don't think we're the least bit prepared for monkeypox. That lime did not have any juice on it. In case you're wondering, what? Adelia puts lime on her tacos. I don't eat the limes. I have no interest in eating limes. And generally speaking, I'm not a fan of lime juice, except on my tacos. That is something I learned being in Mexico and in my margaritas. That's really the only use I have for lime. I guess I squeezed that one a little too hard. That's really the only use I have for limes. So yeah. I have not, ain't nothing changed. I'm 47 years old. I still don't eat vegetables nor fruit. So yeah, you're right to be laughing because that thought is hilarious. All right. Divine is considering a move to Costa Rica. I was talking to Rashida last night about her experience in Costa Rica because it is not a place I could live, and I was curious about her experience there. It's just not a good fit for me. Does Mia like cucumbers? I don't know. She does like carrots. She prefers them cooked. And there are a few other vegetables she will eat because when I was raising my children, often they would try and pawn off their food on her. So that's how I know that. We're gonna open this bag and see if she wants a cucumber, because what she's really hoping is that I'm gonna give her some of these fries, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all watch Last Week Tonight with what is his name? I can't remember. It comes on HBO. I watched the videos. Come here, Mia. Come here. Come here. Come here. I guess she comfortable over there. So we'll have to wait and see if she wants any other cucumbers. Last Week Tonight. It's the guy who did the bird voice in Lion King. And it was very interesting and alarming how not ready the United States is for this. And we are the country, or the United States is the country that actually has a vaccine that they created, and totally unprepared for this is wild. I'm coming to visit in a couple weeks. Which neighborhood did you get those tacos? I got these tacos in a neighborhood called Portales, but y'all, everywhere in this city, you can get good tacos. It all just depends on what kind you want. There are all kinds of tacos. That's something I learned. When I moved here, about how many different kinds of tacos there are. Chris, I have said all I need to say about the gentrification, the problems be associated with digital nomads. If you go back to my channel and you search gentrifier, you can find the video where I've answered all of those kinds of questions. They're splitting the doses of monkeypox vaccine. That doesn't sound like that's a good idea. That doesn't sound like that's a good plan. It really, really doesn't. That alarms me as well. That's the thing. It does you transfer it skin to skin. So anybody who's walking around, y'all, thinking that monkeypox is a sexually transmitted disease, no. I read an article of where a woman who was changing the sheets on a bed of someone who was infected, and she got it through touching the sheets. So any kind of close contact you're having with folks, shaking their hand, touching the doorknob, whatever. And yes, I am putting French fries on my taco because that's how we eat them here. You can get monkeypox that way. It's wild. It's wild. No, it wasn't Bill Maher. John Oliver. That's who it was. Thank you, Latasha. John Oliver. Last week tonight. I see Shanna had it too. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. I don't know why. I don't know how strong this mic is. I don't know if y'all hear me chewing. I hope not. I'm just going back through the comments, seeing what y'all talking about. These are arrachera tacos, Kathy. I get them so much from this place that I walked up and the girl literally said to me in Spanish, she was like, without beans, right? And I was like, yeah, and no onions. Do y'all really want to talk about this? Haven't we already talked about this? I think we have talked about it, but yeah, there are people who are, excuse me, who are pissed off. Is it everybody in a city of 22 million? No. But there are definitely people who don't like having this class of people come in and kind of throw their money around. You know, that's a whole thing. Are you going to continue salsa lessons with COVID and that darn monkeypox to worry about? At the dance school that I go to, or that I went to, because I've only had one salsa class, they gave out gel. As before you could walk in, you had to gel. Masks are mandatory. And for the first part of the class, we weren't touching anybody. For the part where we did have to touch people, I have, of course, my own stash of gel in my purse because that's the world we live in. And so I would sanitize my hands through after every couple of partners I had. And then, of course, when class was over, I went to the bathroom and washed my hands. So I felt like there was some attempt at, maintaining safety. Thank you. Thank you. This color is slightly different than the color I had 2 weeks ago. I don't know how long this color is going to last. We may come up with a new color. Hey, Adrian. Okay, I'm interested that you keep visiting, but it's not someplace you would live. I have only been once, and that was enough for me to know it wasn't for me. But then again, we've all discussed the fact that I'm not made for the tropics. I did not know that was your YouTube name. Okay. Ain't Nobody Coming to See You, Otis, is a member of the Picky Girls Travel Solo group and asked for some information today about Mexico City. And I gave her my recommendations that if she was into art, like weird ass shit, where she should go. because this city has something for everybody. Monkeypox is about to be a thing everywhere, because of how it is passed through physical contact, kind of pretty much physical contact of any kind, or if you're close enough, respiratory droplets. I read an article and they were talking about, like, just imagine school's getting ready to start back up, kids are on the wrestling team. Like, we're going to see monkeypox just run through populations. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't know what the status is with testing and that sort of thing here. I've seen people in different WhatsApp groups I'm in ask, like, where can I go get tested for monkeypox? But I don't know. I don't know what the status of that is, but it's about to be a thing everywhere. Sorry, y'all. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. Maybe y'all get less smacking. Sorry. When you live alone, in my defense, when you live alone, the dog is never going to care about how loud I eat. She only cares, does she get some? That's all she cares. Arrachera is beef. It's like beef skirt. I think it's carne asada. Y'all, I didn't eat a lot of Mexican food when I lived in the US, primarily because you go to a Mexican restaurant, everything's on a plate, and they want to give you a ton of beans and a ton of rice, neither of which are things I want to eat. So when I would go to Mexican restaurants, because Tex-Mex is a whole thing, um, I would get like fajitas or I'd get a quesadilla. So, but I think arrachera is the same as carne asada. I'm not sure, but it's beef. It's beef. It's one of the few beef tacos we have here. Let me tell y'all, I'm always telling you to do things afraid, right? That's what I had to do for salsa class. I'm not sure why, but I had so much anxiety. Well, I think I do know why. I don't like I don't like people looking at me. I definitely don't like doing things that I don't do well and then like having people focus on me. So I guess I had these images that, like, I would not get the footwork and everybody be looking at me like, "Oh, what's wrong with her?" So, and I also, because my original plan was to take private lessons first and learn a little something, then try and go out. But this school was running a deal, and I was like, it was like the timing and everything was perfect. So I was like, okay, this is must what I'm supposed to do. And as I was waiting for class to start, I was sitting there thinking, I could just walk away. So what? Let them keep my money. I could just walk away. But I didn't. I stayed. And it turned out not to be as painful as I thought it was going to be. Um, so yes, I danced. There was nowhere to hide. You had no choice. They taught us, like the basic steps where we were dancing alone. And then for the second half of the class, they partnered us up. I was very surprised. There were more men than there were women, because I was really expecting the opposite to be true. And I danced and I did not make a fool of myself. So now, are we ever going to get video of that? Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful. But who knows? Who knows? The people at the school were filming things and like capturing stuff for marketing or whatever. So if they catch me on camera, I will share that with y'all. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I appreciate y'all for putting up with my smacking because it is tasty. Mm, I read about this too. How do people do mukbangs? How do you eat and do live video? Mm, okay. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this, but right at the beginning of COVID, when they were talking about how this was a because we've had SARS and we've had MERS, and COVID-19 is one of those, it's related to those. And they talked about the possibility of it making a jump from animals to human. And they also talked about that given what's going on with the environment, what we are doing as people encroaching on animal habitats, as well as like the changes in temperature and all of that, you're going to get more where animals and humans are interacting. And so there's going to be more and more of this, a virus that has always been an animal issue is going to become us. And that's what this thing that's happening in China looks like it is. Carne means meat. Asada, I think, is like grilled. So carne is meat. Pork is cerdo, that's a pig, or puerco, that's pork. So like if you get tacos al pastor, those are generally pork. I tried to get private lessons, and one of the quirks of Mexican culture is that people will often agree to things that they have no intention of doing. They do not, it's impolite to say no. If you say no, you have to give a reason why. But it's considered to be better to agree to something and then bail on the other end than to say no outright. And this guy who I was talking to, he was like, yeah, 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 sure. And I never heard from him again. So I got the old Mexican brush off. It happens. It happens. We'll see if y'all get to see it. I don't know. But I will give this school credit that like because like I've done you go to the salsa club and they have like if you come an hour early, you get a free class, but that's never good enough, at least for me, to make me feel comfortable to go out and dance in front of people. And when I left class on Saturday, like I felt like I could go somewhere and I could dance. Now, maybe I couldn't do lots of tricks, but like we learned how to turn, we learned how to dance with partners and kind of do this other sort of turn where you sort of walk away. So I, their style of teaching, the way that they've broken this process down, I was very impressed with that. It was something, one of the things I talk about, if y'all look back there, regret nothing. One of the things I'm always talking about is having no regrets. And if I died tomorrow, if I died next week, next month, this might sound a little stupid, but one of the things I would truly regret is not knowing how to salsa dance. It's something I have always wanted to know how to do. So I was like, well, what are you waiting on? You should get to like fixing that. And so that's what I did. Good Lord, we dealing with polio again? That's wow. Hmm. Okay, no, I have not mentioned this because I'm really bad. I'm really bad. I'm a I'm a horrible capitalist. So no, I did not mention this. Okay, so you signed up for the investing challenge. It is going to start in October. Yes, that is still a thing. Um, I just finished one in July. Just finished one because right after I got back from Cancun, we had one. September, I am going to be traveling. I'll be in Europe. I don't want to deal with time zones. Y'all know math is not my friend. Time zones are my nemesis. So September was out. December is far away. I'll also be traveling. So October. So yes, that is still a thing. And if you're hearing about this and you're like, what? What is that? Okay, hold on. Let me edit this because it's not July 6th anymore. Okay, so if you're hearing this and you're thinking about like, oh, I want to get started investing. I need to learn about investing. The challenge, it's a 6-day challenge. Um, it is for people who have never invested in the US stock market before, or people who have technically invested, but they really don't know what the hell they're doing. Like when you got your job, you signed up for the 401k, but in all honesty, you don't know what's in it. You don't know how it works. You don't know what it's doing. It is for those, and I said people. The challenge is specifically for Black women. Um, Black women are some of the least invested, and I feel the need to help with that. So, if you are interested in either increasing your knowledge and finally understanding like what the hell it is you've invested in your IRA or your 401k at work, or if those words don't mean anything to you, the challenge is probably for you. It is 6 days long. It will be in probably the middle of October. This is where you can go to get on the waiting list. And then the people on the waiting list will be the first to know um, when the course gets opened. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that because I probably would have forgot. Plan to move towards doing only the things that make a fool of me, such as skipping down the street with my babies and sharing my art. Well, good for you, Yvette. Um, I still struggle with that. You know, I'm an introverted introvert. I do not like attention on me, but I am going to do the things that I have always wanted to do. Um, because there is one way to look at, if you weren't living in this time that we're living in right now, let's say you were just reading about it, wouldn't it sound like this is almost the end of the world? Wouldn't it? Oh yes. The first Spanish class that I took here in Mexico, we had to learn the verb deber, which is like you must do something, and we had to learn how to say no. And one of the things the instructor drove home was, which is a hard thing for me, like somebody invites you to something, you can't just say, oh no. Like, oh, we're having a party at my house, blah, 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 blah. I'm inviting you, and you can say, oh, no, no, thanks. That is considered rude. You need to give a reason. Or you say yes and you cancel later. And sometimes you don't even cancel. Totally a thing. There are lots of dance halls, and maybe one day I will work up to that. but not right now. I'm sorry, Miss Dow. I'm sorry. When you come to town next time, we'll get some tacos. Seeing what y'all talking about in here. Folks quitting jobs. I haven't watched House Hunters International in a minute, but I always especially like to watch the ones here. And because it's very interesting to see like how they portray the city and that sort of thing. I think there is a beauty to this city that I think catches people by surprise because there are so many people here. You would think a city this size with 22 million people, you would expect it to just be like ugly and dirty. And don't get me wrong, there are parts that are probably ugly. There are parts that are probably dirty, but on the whole, it really isn't. It's a much greener place than a lot of people expect. Oh, hmm. There will be more details to come. I saw somebody talking about a meetup. Is anybody in New Jersey or near New Jersey? Because I'm going to be in New Jersey next month for a couple of days. And I was thinking about doing a meetup, which is not something an introverted introvert would typically do. But I'm trying to be more open. And I don't know if anybody's in that area. Alicia, you know where I got these tacos from. I think you can recognize where I got these tacos from. So you know they're tasty. So which city? Newark. I'll be in Newark, which typically I only ever just fly through. I don't think I've ever like been outside the airport in Newark, but that is where I will be briefly. And then I am going to try to squeeze in a day trip to DC so I can go to the African American Smithsonian Museum. And then I will be off to Norway. See if I can find a man to give me a girlfriend visa. I have no sense. I know Newark is very close to New York, but I didn't realize it was across the river from Brooklyn. I laugh because if y'all know me, or like if you watched last week's episode of the podcast, you know I'm not trying hard to find a man. But I would like residency in another country. And many of the countries in Northern Europe, you don't need to be married in order to be sponsored for a visa. So they're called girlfriend visas. Um, and so if I could find somebody who likes me and wants to sponsor my girlfriend visa, we might could do something. But I'm not looking that hard for a man. Not at all. I will basically the month of September, I will be traveling. I will be back like at the very end of September, beginning of October. And then, so I will miss all of the Independence Day celebrations here. And there are the last 2 years, the public has not been allowed to attend. this year they have already announced the one of the musical guests, and like I am I'm in a few places on Facebook where that are like Mexican centered. I'm not just in like foreigner groups. And let me tell you, like the memes people are sharing, like people are hype about the Independence Day stuff this year, and I'm going to miss it, but I will be here for Day of the Dead. So, you know, not the end of the world. Dee, when do you get here? I thought you were coming like next week. Adrian's going to Europe next month. Um, you're flying into Dublin. I have nothing planned. I bought the ticket. I think I mentioned this to y'all that I got this super economy fare. That basically my ticket, my what I paid literally only gets me a spot on the plane. It doesn't give me anything else. Don't give me do they have free water? I don't know. I may need to bring my own drink, but uh and so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be going soon. Let me book hotels." Let me tell y'all how expensive. I knew that part of the world was expensive. I've been to Iceland. I have had the $20 hamburgers, but these hotel rooms, uh, I looked for, is there anything $100 a night? It only showed me hostels. I can't do hostels in the middle of a pandemic with various viral diseases like monkeypox popping up. So hostels are not really going to work for me right now. Some of these places, 2 days in a hotel is more than I pay in rent. If, if I don't catch a man on this trip, this might be the end of it. Um, and so outside of I'm just now starting to book my hotels, I have not planned anything. That's one thing I think has changed because of the pandemic. I'm just I don't feel the drive to plan out everything because like there could be killer hornets tomorrow, who knows what could happen tomorrow. So I'm very like, oh, okay, I'll show up, I'll figure something out. No, I've not been to Norway. I have been to Iceland. The last time I was in Europe was right when the pandemic was kicking off in China. And I had contemplated hitting Northern Europe then, but it was January and it was going to be too cold. So I was like, no, that'll be the next time. So instead, I focused more like on Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Romania, Hungary, Slovenia. So no, I have not been to Norway yet. Um, and the way those prices are looking, this might be the only time I go. Hey, Joy Route. Hey, glad you dropped in. Oh no, did y'all catch the podcast interview I did with her? I love her. She is living life on her terms. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Yes, I am visiting multiple countries. I have a hard time going anywhere and just going to one country. I always feel compelled to go somewhere else. So like in December and January, I went to Italy, but because we were in this even before we were in the middle of the Omicron thing, with all of the requirements being what they were, it was just too hard to visit another place. But I did squeeze in San Marino. So technically, I got two countries out of that trip. Um, and so for this trip, the plan is Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Um, the Baltic states like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Finland, that'll have to be another time. That'll have to be another time. Day of the Dead, really. there's going to be a lot of events downtown. Um, because last year they had like multiple stages going, like multiple ofrendas and different things. So really, pretty much in any part of the city you're in, you'll be able to find something. But if you don't want like a million gajillion people, like who would be in Centro, go down to Coyoacan. Coyoacan used to be its own city. Like when Frida Kahlo was growing up, that was not considered to be part of Mexico City. And so, whether it's for Independence Day, Day of the Dead, they tend to have their own celebrations down there. The crowds tend to be a little less crowdy. But yeah, there's going to be a lot. There will be the parade. We went to the parade last year, and there will be the Katrina parade this year, which they did not have last year. So I'm very excited about that. No need to be ashamed. Actually, I think Coco does a really great job of explaining it. So if that's all you know plenty. You know a lot more than some of the tourists who show up down here thinking, oh, it's just Mexican Halloween. No, it's not. Um, and in case y'all are wondering, Halloween is very much becoming a thing here. So that really starting from the beginning of September all the way through about the middle of November. It's a very festive time in Mexico City because you've got Independence, you've got Day of the Dead, Halloween, you've got Formula One, and there's another event that happens in there. I think later in November, there's a huge music festival, Corona Capital. So that part of the year, there's always a ton of things going on. Always. Yeah, no, everything in that part of the world is super expensive. And I knew that. The numbers didn't click. I can't tell you the last time I've paid more than like $60 a night for a hotel. Like I don't pay more than that. And so for this trip, there's one place, and I kid y'all not, it was like for 3 nights for $350, you could sleep in a tent. I kid you not. uh Yeah, that part of the world is not for folks who don't have a little money they willing to burn. Um, Mia is going to stay with a friend this time around. Although, well, no, I'm one of the reasons didn't even try to take her is because I'm stopping in the US first. And if I am traveling with her, my preference is it to be like one country, or if it's multiple countries, let them at least like all have the same requirements. So no, she's gonna stay with a friend. All the flight prices are ridiculous, which is why I booked this super budget, ultra budget flight, because one, I knew like food and stuff would be expensive. I just didn't realize how expensive. And two, the way these flight prices was set up. And I wasn't sure when else I was going to go, because with the way the pandemic is set up, with the way y'all seen all the bullshit people have had to put up with this summer traveling. Um, I only want to fly direct. I could not get to Norway, Sweden, or Denmark direct from Mexico City. You can from New York. I was already going to be in Newark, so I was like, this seems like the time I should go. It's the fall, so it shouldn't be too cold, I'm hoping. I have my adventurous moments. However, um, camping is not one of the places I choose to be adventurous. Um, I did consider the place with the tent briefly, but then I let that go. I let that go, and I had to just make some adjustments. Um, yeah, seeing what y'all talking about. Hey, our Black Utopia. When How long do y'all have to wait back to hear about your visa for Portugal? Because I'm always curious about that because in Mexico for the Mexican visa, you find out within minutes whether or not you're approved. So I'm curious about how long y'all gotta wait. Um, I did pitch somebody who is in Costa Rica, and we have not settled on a date, so they're not confirmed. But I am working to get a person who is living in Costa Rica who enjoys it to come on and talk about that experience. Um, yeah, yeah. No, I went glamping last year for Thanksgiving. Um, and all I kept saying was, "I'm glad this is only 3 days." Like, any longer than that, I would have been done. Well, I'm sure y'all will hear back by then. Mia? Mia, do you want some cucumbers? Come here. Come on. Come here. She's being difficult. She's being difficult. Maybe if I make her think I'm giving her some taco. Here. Come on. She's looking at me like, "Nah, heifer. I know that trick. I know that trick. I know you're not giving me no taco." Come here. Come here. Let's see. Y'all see how many cucumbers this is? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with all of that? Come here. Come on. Okay. She took it. Now, will she actually eat it? Huh? She's trying to bite into it. She's an old lady. She doesn't have a lot of teeth, but she's over there trying to bite it. She does not like tomatoes. She will lick them and walk off from them. So no, she's trying. So y'all are gonna bounce, huh? Y'all are getting out of there. Okay, so apparently she does like it because she's still over there chewing on it. Iceland is one of the few places I really would like to go back. I visited in March, which for them was probably like a warm spring. It never got above freezing. And I would like to go when it is not cold because, like, several of the waterfalls we went to, lots of frozen ice, blah, blah, blah. Um, so, yeah, eventually I will get back, hopefully. Um, I don't know if I'm willing to do camping, but I know that that's like doing the road trip around. I know that that's a really great way to see things. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about how to make that work. Mia, don't y'all be thinking that Mia's like all healthy. She likes junk food too. But okay, she ate that whole cucumber. So now we know when the taco place gives me cucumbers, I can give them to Mia. Um, I don't find cucumbers to be tasteless. I find that they have a taste, and I don't like that taste. I don't like that taste at all. I drove when I was in New Zealand. Driving on the other side of the road, that was really nerve-wracking. I am just thankful that I know how to drive a stick because, like, when I drove in the Netherlands and Belgium, I drove a stick. I didn't even consider that they could have given me a stick in New Zealand and I would have had to shift with my left hand. Like, that might have been the straw. I don't know that I'd have been able to pull that off, but no, driving through New Zealand, that was pretty awesome. Hello, hello. I think I've mentioned to y'all that typically for New Year's and Christmas, always New Year's, I go somewhere. London, Barcelona. Well, the trip was Barcelona, Madrid, Lisbon. Um, went to Cartagena in Colombia, uh, Valencia. These were different trips. Um, there was the big trip that I did in January 2020, 4 weeks, 8 or 9 different countries, whatever. Um, this year, I think I'm going to be in the US. I can't tell you the last time I have been in the US for Christmas and New Year's. Maybe 2014. um, Beginning of December, I will head to El Salvador. At the moment, I don't know if I'm going anywhere in November. And for the first time, and I don't know how long, um, I don't already have 2023 travel plans. That is unlike me. Um, but that's, I think, one of the things that the pandemic has kind of shifted in me, like making very far out plans. That just seems to be asking for a headache. So I'm not back in that mode. Um, there are no veggies on my taco. I typically get tacos. I've had to learn how to order them where there are just meat because, okay, these are some of the things that I've had to learn about Mexico as a picky eater. Mexicans don't consider onions to be vegetables because I can't tell you how many times I have had a conversation with a waiter where we're going back and forth. I have said I do not like vegetables, blah blah blah, and I get food that's got onions in it. And they look at me like, those are onions. That's not a vegetable. Yes, it is. So if I know how the taco is typically served, I know to ask specifically, no this, no that, no whatever. So like al pastor, it comes with pineapple, cilantro, onions. So I will go down the list, sin piña, sin cebolla, sin cilantro. And then I learned I said something about nada one time, like nada, and I got a plate of meat. They didn't even give me a tortilla. So that wasn't it. But what I've learned is you've got to ask for it naturales. That will tell them that you want it plain. These tacos have French fries on them. I don't really like potatoes, but French fries are okay. Other kinds of potatoes, not a fan. Not a fan. So this is a little lemon, a little lime juice. This is tamarind, tamarind salsa. I do not like I will not get a tamarind margarita because there's like bits and pieces in there. But however they make this is okay. I've got 20 of these in my freezer. So a little salsa. It's got cheese, beef, and French fries. So that's what's on my taco. But typically my tacos are meat only. Um, I have not. I have tried to get to Australia at least 3 different times, and something has happened. Like, once there was a pandemic, the other time, I ended up moving to China, the time before that, I forget what happened to that ticket. So Australia is on the list, but I'm not hard pressed about it. Really, the only reason I wanna go, there's a peanut butter restaurant in Sydney that I'd like to try, and so I keep trying to get there for that, but no, it hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened. The only places I've been in Canada are Victoria. Um, I have a friend who lives in Canada, and we've been trying to coordinate things for a few years for me to get up there. Um, the problem is there's so many other places to go to that I'm kind of like, oh, I'll go to Canada later, and then I don't. And then it's winter, and I don't want to go to Canada in the winter. So, um, so maybe like I go to Merida in the winter, but then in the summer I need to try and go to Canada. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get up there in the next couple of years. Before I left the US, I very much sat down because when I left, y'all, I had no intention of like ever coming back. I did not think I was going to spend any significant amount of time. And for the most part, I haven't. Generally, I am in the US when I am flying somewhere else, and it makes more sense to fly from the US. Now, with what stuff looks like now, I am actively trying to avoid flying through the US. But I kind of went through the list of states that I had visited and was like, is there anything that I would be like, sad that I didn't get to see? Like, I would like to get to Alaska. One of the last things I did, I left in July, and in May, I took a day off from work and went to Death Valley because I wanted to see that. Um, so I left Monday night. I was in Death Valley on Tuesday, flew back to Houston Wednesday morning, and went to work. um, so I kind of, and I haven't been to Chicago. So, like, I'd like to go to Chicago, and at some point I'll probably do that. But for me, I think I've hit all the places that I wanted to see. Do I travel hack? Nah, that's probably too much work. You mean like points and all that? I do earn points, but I'm not somebody that's like gonna churn cards because that's more work than I want to do. Dita, you know I don't eat fruit either. If Japan opens up, I might go because I have a friend that lives there and I could stay with him for free. But I'm not hard pressed about Japan. No, I do not eat fruit. I do not eat vegetables. I have not my entire life. Um, the running joke of when, like, I just had this conversation with somebody on Saturday, um, and I was like, "Yeah, like, why I don't have scurvy? I don't know, but no, I do not eat fruits or vegetables." Um, I mean, I guess if we want to get technical, I will eat tomato sauce, but I do not like biting into a piece of tomato. No, thank you. Um, but yeah, for the most part, no fruits, no vegetables. 7 wonders of the world. I thought about that. And then I was like, do I really care? um, Here's the thing about me. I will go pretty much anywhere if the opportunity presents itself. But places I am going to like make an effort to get to, that's a little different. So, like when I lived in Kuwait, because of the location, it would have been easy for me. Like if we had a long weekend, I could have flown to India. And so I was actually starting to plan a trip to India. But given given the struggles one has traveling as a Black woman alone in India, not that it's impossible, it's just different. I wasn't pressed. There was nothing I was that pressed. There's one thing I want to see in India. The Golden Temple, the Sikh Golden Temple in Amritsar. That is the one thing that I would really like to see in India. And if I could figure out a way to like fly in the morning, have somebody drive me, see it, and fly out that night. If I can figure that out, I'll do that. I'm not. India is just going to be a hard place for me to travel as someone who does not eat fruits or vegetables. There's that piece too. So, like seeing the Taj Mahal, I've seen some of them. Am I pressed about Machu Picchu? I don't know. Again, if the opportunity presents itself, but I heard something about like having to hike, that's probably where you lost me. So I'm not too pressed about that. But if there is, I don't know. I pick places just by what strikes my fancy, I guess. I absolutely was brown sugar babe. I'm sure not that my children ever watch anything that I make on the internet, but yeah, no, my kids will tell you I did the whole like, you're not getting up from this table until you eat this thing. I did all of that because I didn't want them to have the struggles that I had. And that worked with the older one. The younger one, she was a little bit like, I guess we just gonna be sitting here. But yes, I did try to get them to eat those things. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Banff in Canada. Fruit smoothies? Absolutely not. It's, I don't know how to explain it other than like you eat a strawberry, you eat a grape, you eat pineapple, and you think, this is tasty and sweet. I eat that and I think, "Ugh, this does not taste good." So trying to drink an entire fruit smoothie of things that don't taste good, that is so unattractive. So unattractive. Um, you did not miss this. Cause I excuse me, y'all. At this moment, I do not feel that this is my calling to organize group trips. That may change. I might be inclined to host an event, but I don't know. I don't know. At the moment, I don't think so. Okay. So, from as I was gathering my information to plan my trip to India, I talked to my Black female friends who had been there. There's the whole you're Black thing. There's that, but that's a lot of places. India is not a great place for unaccompanied women. It really isn't. And I hold my own most places. So it's not that I was like, oh, that deterred me. It was like, okay, so I've got to be in the right mindset. I've got to move in a certain way. Um, I think there is a certain element of what you would get like in a Moroccan marketplace, although interestingly enough, we didn't get that when we were there. And I don't know if maybe it was because it was Ramadan when I went. I don't know. But being a woman, India is not a great place for that. And then being a woman who doesn't look like they are from there, I think the amount of scrutiny you receive, the, just throngs of people, it just, I don't like crowds. That's the other thing. I know I live in a city of 22 million people. And for much of the time, it is not crowded. Every now and then, I might get caught up in some event someplace, like when we did the Day of the Dead parade last year. I was very concerned about the size of the crowd, not just from a COVID standpoint, but because of like, I don't do well in crowds. Luckily, we got a spot very close to the front. So the massive crowd was behind us. Otherwise, I don't think I would have made it. So those things in India, I think, there's not enough in India for me to see to make that worth my while. Because I have put up with those kinds of things in other countries where there was something I really wanted to see. So, and that may change. I may do a little bit more research and find out that there's some other cool thing um, in India that I want to see, and I might change that. But as of right now, there's only one thing I want to see. Yes, we are talking about veggies and fruits and the lack thereof, and why I don't have scurvy and all that good stuff. Ah, you know, the person I was having this conversation with on Saturday, you know, I because it it never fails. Somehow the conversation goes to food. I say, well, yeah, I don't eat fruits and vegetables. And the next question is, well, how are you alive? Like everybody else, I guess. Um, and then we talk about like why I don't like these things. And to me, my philosophy is why would you voluntarily eat things that taste bad to you? Think about it. Even in nature, there are animals whose defense mechanism is to make themselves taste bad so other animals don't eat them. If in nature we are not supposed to eat things that taste bad, why should I eat these things that don't taste good? It's like, so maybe y'all need that stuff. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Don't start no mess with Rashida in the comments, y'all. I've already gotten an earful. I've already gotten an earful. I didn't know. I had not heard about graffiti being on there. I did look at the size of the crowds that are there, and that was a big thing that turned me off. Yeah. Uh, yes, Monica. I have been this way my entire life. When my mother was alive, she used to tell this story. Now, how true this is, I don't know, because this would have been in the early 80s, late 70s. But supposedly, at this daycare I was going to, they were doing some kind of study where, like, I don't know, like on eating habits or whatever. And so the kids were blindfolded and they were given something to eat that supposedly they didn't like. And all all of the kids, like, because they couldn't see it, would eat it anyway. And then they got to me. And according to her, because I have no recollection of this, they put a piece of apple in my mouth. that I promptly spit out and then proceeded to wipe my tongue off on my shirt. So I have always been like this my entire life. Um, I got I have no explanation for it other than what you've heard here tonight. Um, no doctor has ever done any blood work or anything and was like, "Oh my gosh, you're low in this, you're deficient in that." So I don't know what to tell y'all. Now, see, y'all got Rashida in here. Did I tell y'all about the last restaurant I chose? If you let Rashida Dow tell it, I am the worst restaurant chooser in the world. And that is not true. I am someone who gathers information. And so I have lots of places that I'm like, oh, let's try this place. But I don't know if it's going to be good or it's not going to be good. If y'all saw my IG, you know that the last restaurant I chose, it was a mistake. Never going back there again. I mean, the food technically tasted fine, although there was a slew of sea creatures in my pasta that I do not eat. Um, there was that, but so overpriced. So overpriced. I do not drink beer. I do not like the taste of beer. I don't understand why anybody drinks beer. Um, I don't know. I mean, I do drink wine, but I don't think I drink enough to prevent scurvy. So, um, I at this moment I do not take vitamins. When I was a little kid, my mother made me take vitamins. But at this moment I do not. So, that's me and all of my my oddness. Um, I think the thing that y'all often miss, it's not that I choose poor bad restaurants. It is that I am often the one doing the choosing. So statistically, mathematically, I'm going to have more losses because I'm the one doing more choosing. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. Yeah, maybe it's the lime juice on the tacos, which I didn't start doing until I was here. And I gave it a try and I was like, okay, this does like kick the taco up another notch. Um, so yeah, there's that. And it was way more money than I wanted to spend on that food. But lesson learned, won't be repeated. I'll try and do better the next time. Hello, Dr. Phil in Oakland. Um, um, I'm not low carb, y'all. Cause the amount of pasta I can put away and then my sweet tooth. So no. Name the wins. El Mayor was a win. Um, Maria La Ciento was a win. There are wins. What are your wins, Missy? Where's a place you picked that we were happy with and we were like, "Oh yeah, we got to come back here." Huh? See how the pressure is always put on me? I don't think that's fair. I don't know, maybe there has been the theory that like maybe I'm some kind of mutant, like some kind of like genetic anomaly. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I am grateful that I happen to be born in a place where eating the way I prefer was fairly easy. I could have, You know, where we are born in the world, it is all the lottery of birth. And I could have been born in a place that that eating the way I do would have been more difficult. Okay, I'll give you that one. Although we only had dessert, but I will give you that one. This is what I'm talking about. Somebody who's making some sense here. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That getting lettuce on tacos is not really a thing here. Um, although lettuce on other things is a thing. So it's always it's always a process when I go out to eat because the whoever the waiter is and we have to make sure we understand each other. And I will give the waiter last night some credit. He vowed to me that there were no vegetables. The part I missed was the sea creatures that were in there. My favorite dessert. That is a really good question. It depends on the day. Like, I love an almond croissant filled with almond cream. I like for real brownies. Mexican brownies don't always be for real brownies. Um, if it's a dessert made with peanut butter, I'm obligated to try it. That's just the rule. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I have like a favorite dessert, like, oh, I would pick that dessert over other ones. I just like dessert as long as there is no fruit involved. See, I like this theory. Maybe there are just more bad restaurants. That is quite possible. That is quite possible. Yeah, like I like dessert. I like dessert way more than I should. That's a problem. Don't be giving her credit. Is it Layla? Don't be giving her credit. She is not doing anything out of the kindness of her heart. That's because she don't want to look. She just want to be told where to show up. Uh-uh. Don't be trying to get her off the hook. Hmm. Absolutely not. I will not eat carrot cake. Absolutely not. I don't know why anybody eats carrot cake to tell you the truth, but I tell you, I won't be eating it. All right. Anything else on y'all's mind? Because I think we've explored my peculiarities, I think, enough. So I don't know if there's anything else on your mind. Oh, um, I mentioned to y'all that tomorrow, so like the Financial Confidence Academy, which is our monthly, what did we say? Because I said it wasn't really group coaching, but like you can enroll anytime you want. So like this month for August, we're talking about all things credit. The workshop is tomorrow. So if like you want to be in a community with other Black women or Black and brown women, because women of color can participate. If you want to be in community with them and learn about different financial topics, you can do that. And I think I have a link. Yeah. Uh, pickygirltravels.thinkific.com. If you go there, Financial Confidence Academy, we have a workshop tomorrow. Later this month, we have our Q&A. If that's something you're interested in, you can join on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I will be going live. My guest lives in France. So if France is one of the countries that you have been considering, you will definitely want to try and catch that live or catch the replay. That's going on. I'm still, I know I told y'all I would get you an updated cost of living video, and I've outlined it. I've just not filmed it. Yeah. Oh no. And not a fan of cream cheese, although I know some people sneak it into their buttercream icing. I will allow that, but in general, cream cheese. I wish I did not like sweets, but I do. What's your favorite fabric store in Mexico City? There isn't one. Mexico City is not great for fabric. Now, who I will tell you, if you want sustainable, conscientiously produced fabric, check out corefabrics.com. All of her stuff is environmental, and she explains whether it's through the materials it's made out of, the process, what have you. But in Mexico City is not a great place to buy fabric. I went to a fashion designer's pop-up on Saturday, and that's one of the things I asked her, was like, because I thought, well, maybe there's some place, because there are a lot of fashion designers here. I thought maybe there's some place and I'm just missing it. And I asked her, and she was like, no, like she was like, I sourced that fabric in Colombia. I sourced this fabric elsewhere. So yeah, Mexico City is not great for that. Not great for that. I'm laughing because her dog food was delivered today. Mia and as I brought the bag upstairs, I thought, this is a very pampered dog, that here I am spending way more than I should to buy imported dog food. She eats a brand called First Choice. It is from Canada. She started eating it when we lived in China, because China doesn't have a lot of the like safety rules that we have in other countries. And there had been the whole like dog food thing where animals were dying. So I couldn't bring myself to trust any Chinese brand dog food. So I knew I was going to have to buy something imported. The ingredients for this stuff I felt good about. So somebody was importing it from Canada, and I bought it there. And then when we moved here, I couldn't find it at first. And I tried something from, what do we have? I think we have Petco here. We either have Petco or PetSmart, one of them. I tried their food. She ended up in the emergency room. So I found this Canadian food. It's called First Choice. And I have to order it online and get it delivered. So yeah, she's a spoiled little dog. What happens when one presents one's passport with a temporary visa from the American side to Mexico when you enter? You are here, that they will mark your passport or whatever canje, CANJE, that lets them know that you're here to finish your visa process, and you have 30 days to start it. That's what happens. And so from the moment you enter Mexico, you have 30 days to show up at a immigration office to handle the second part and pay for that. Yeah, I've heard this too, that they are doing away with the FMMs. That's what they're doing this week. Will they still be doing that next week or in 2 weeks? Who knows? But yes, this, depending on what city you are flying in and out of in Mexico, because they didn't do it across the whole country at once, they were rolling it out. And so they may not do that. So yeah, so that's a thing, and they'll just stamp your passport if they're not doing FMMs. Would I ever do an apartment tour of my apartment? Probably not. Oh no. Other apartments? Maybe, maybe. A bagel is fine. I have no beef with bread. Cream cheese? No. I'd put I'd put peanut butter on a bagel before I put anything else. Um, y'all are really fascinated by this, aren't you? um, Blended vegetables. If I can't taste it, it might not be the end of the world. But a lot of vegetables have really strong tastes. Am I a self-taught sewer? Um, Not really. When I was in the sixth grade, my mother taught me how to sew. And actually, those are the only lessons I have. Everything after that, it's reading the instructions. Um, so there are some people who just are naturally gifted and can look at something and like sketch out the pattern and figure out how to, I don't have those skills. But you give me a pattern and you give me some instructions, I can follow them and make a thing that I can do. Excuse me, y'all. Um, okay. I have done, okay, you can take a box mix of brownies and you can add a can of pumpkin puree and you don't have to add anything else, right? I've done that before and you can still taste the pumpkin a little bit, but my love of brownies like overpowered that. Pumpkin on its own is disgusting. Uh, some Another thing you could do is with a can of a box brownie mix, you can puree black beans and use those. I would do that over the pumpkin puree, although I'm not a fan of beans on their own because they taste like beans and that's not a good taste. Most I'm laughing because this is the kind of thing that Rashida and everybody else talks about me about. Like I've always got a fun fact for you. And here the fun fact is, did y'all know that most of the sugar that you buy at the grocery store in the United States comes from beets, not sugar cane? Did you know that? So I'm not shocked that your friend makes a cake with beets instead of sugar, because that's where most of the granulated sugar you're buying in the US comes from. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. Lee, the FMM, which stands for Forma Migra Multiple, or I don't know. Basically, it's your little card that you would get like when you enter the country and you fill it out and you say where you're staying and how long you're going to be there and all that kind of stuff. Y'all are a mess. Absolutely no sweet potato pie. I don't know how y'all eat that. I do not. So no sweet potato pie, no pumpkin pie, none of that. Um, it used to be when you entered the US, there used to be a form that you had to fill out to go through customs. The FMM, and again, the words stand for something in Spanish that I can't quite remember, but that form was in use up till like last week in Mexico. They are doing away with them. Why? We don't know. Is this a permanent thing? We don't know. That's the thing about Mexico, y'all. You cannot be rigid and live here. because things change often for no reason at all. And you just got to kind of roll with it. Yeah. Yeah. I have had 7 Up pound cake. I thought it was tasty. I have never made one. But if somebody wants to make me a pound cake, I'm not going to turn that down. I will not turn down pie. Like sakatumi cake has sour cream in it. I do not like sour cream, but I like sakatumi cake. So there is that. There is that. All right, y'all. I think we did it. Just wanted to hang out. I hope y'all were entertained. You probably know way more now about my eating habits than you ever wanted to know. So, and now you know why they call me Picky Girl Travels, huh? Makes perfect sense now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? All right. So yeah, if you want to find out about living in France, I believe she lives in the south of France. Try and catch us live at 1 p.m. on Friday. If not, catch the replay. Thank you, Layla. Okay. I was close. I was close. um, so yeah. So yeah, catch that. If you want to learn about all things credit, sign up for the Financial Confidence Academy because we're having our workshop tomorrow. If you want to get started investing, remember you can get on the wait list for it. That will be sometime in October. And I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it. So appreciate y'all coming to hang out and watch me eat tacos. And I will catch y'all next time. Bye, y'all.